Hello and welcome to Carrie Conversations Journey to Wellness. Okay, today I'm going to start things off a little differently. I have a quote that is one of my favorite quotes. It sits on my bathroom wall and it's by John Barth. It says, "Everyone is necessarily the hero of his own life story." And that is something that I believe in so much. And in life, in our own journeys, we have to make choices, and it's all up to us. And so that's why I started this series, Carrie Conversations Journey to Wellness, is to help people have access to information and paths and choices so that they can make the best choices, so that they can be the hero of their own story. Because truthfully, we are in charge of our own destinies. And today I'm very fortunate because we're going to speak with someone who can help a lot of people's destinies get better. Their future can unfold in a better, more healthy way. I'm talking to an incredible human being who has devoted his life to helping others. At just 4 years old, he's just a little baby. He became aware of a special gift that he had that helped put him on a path of healing countless people suffering from mystery illnesses and chronic sicknesses and things they didn't even know they had. With his best-selling books, like this one here, which is one of my favorites, Cleanse to Heal, he's got life-changing foods and secrets behind chronic and mystery illness and how to finally heal. And he has his popular podcast. I know you're starting to figure out who this is, and his lifestyle series on Amazon. That's right. He's built a wellness community of millions of people, devoted followers, including some famous people you know, like Sylvester Stallone, Pharrell Williams, Robert De Niro, and Gwyneth Paltrow, among many, many, many more. Plus, a little known fact is that he's the one who told us to drink lemon water on an empty stomach first thing in the morning to flush the liver and the body of the toxins that accumulated overnight. Yes, I think you know who it is. If you don't, please welcome my dear friend, Anthony William, the medical medium. Hi.
Yay! I'm here.
How are you today?
Amazing, incredible, and it's an honor to be here. It truly is. And oh my God, that's an introduction. I don't even know what to say now. That was oh my God.
I only tell the truth. That's because you're an incredible human being, and I'm just so grateful that you're here today on Carrie Conversations. Thanks for making the time today.
I am happy to be here. I love to help. I want to help anybody I can out there in the world, and we'll talk about some cool stuff. So
we're definitely okay. So let's get right into it. Okay. So many people love and follow you. I'm obviously one of them, as we all know. But for those who aren't familiar with what you do, can you explain a little bit of what you do as the medical medium?
Sure. It started out when I was young, right at age 4, and I heard a voice. And that voice gave me information about others, meaning what they were feeling, if they were sick, if something was wrong. And then beyond that, gave me information on advanced stuff about, viruses and bacteria and toxic heavy metals and the nervous system and vagus nerves and phrenic nerves and trigeminal nerves at age 4. So, and receiving that information, it's like, oh, what is this? It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. Vagus nerves. What do you mean vagus nerves? And I couldn't even pronounce any of it really, at age 4. It was like, so the voice was teaching me how to pronounce things, how to say things, how to identify them in people, how to understand the information. And it led to a life of where I am now, where I put the information in the books so people with chronic illness can have a chance to heal. And I was known as the bizarre symptoms guy because it was like people would say, well, I got tingles on my nose. I got aches and pains here, and my arms are tingling, and I got panic attacks and tightness of the chest, and I'm seeing floaters and weird spots and visual snow in my eyes. And I'm dizzy. And I was known as like the guy where you went to all the different doctors.
Right.
So you went around the world. A lot of people went around the world just searching for doctors. And they'd be like, okay, I'll give this guy a chance. I heard from either a doctor or a practitioner that this guy knows something. And so I became this person that knew about why we have these bizarre symptoms. Like, how
Mhm.
come we feel these things? And fatigue, where our legs feel like sandbags, and we get heart palpitations, but nothing's wrong with our heart, and ectopic heartbeat, and we get the vertigo and the ringing in the ear and the tinnitus in the ear. And so I was known as the guy, that's the guy you go to after you've been to all these doctors and tried everything. Because you got to think about it. I mean, who's going to go see me unless they're really in a position where I've tried everything? Because, okay, I'm at my 15th doctor. So I think I need to give, this guy I heard a chance. And of course, you
Yeah.
get people that would come to me before that. They'd be like, open to it. But a lot of people, they would finally run into someone where
Mhm.
someone would say, you have to talk to this guy, you have
Right.
to hear what this guy has to say. And or a doctor would say, look, I'm friends with this guy, the medical medium, and he knows all this stuff, so you
Mhm.
need to see him. And so
Yeah.
that's what happened. It's all about chronic illness. So I became this chronic illness expert. And through being pushed into it by the voice I heard at age 4, starting at age 4.
Right.
And I started doing this young, and it became this thing where it was all I could do. I tried everything I did. I tried not to go this direction in life. Like, I
I was
was
gonna
like,
ask, did
I
you
don't
ever
want to do
resist
this.
it? Yeah, did you
Yeah,
resist it?
I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work with sick people day in.
Right.
And when I was 8 years old, I was like, do I really have to do this at 8 years old, 10 years old? But it became this thing where you couldn't avoid it.
Mhm.
So you just, every person that came near me, or a crowd of people, or even on television, I'd be 8 years old and I would watch something on television, and Spirit of Compassion would be giving me information about the person's health that's on television. It
Oh my god.
became a situation where you couldn't avoid it, and
Right.
you had to learn to live with it,
Yeah.
or there was no other option. So and it became, a blessing. It became a gift for people who are really sick and have tried everything, been there and done that, and they just didn't have the answers. and
Yeah.
and so it became a gift for the people that needed it the most.
It really is a gift. I mean, I know for myself it's been a gift, and I know I talk to a lot of people. A lot of my friends are also like your fans, right? And I'm always like, he's such an amazing person. We've been friends for a while now, and it's just, you know, what you do is so important and powerful. But I'm thinking back, like just a 4-year-old boy getting these incredibly important messages, which I'm sure you felt the gravitas of at that age, even if you didn't understand what the messages were. And it's the spirit, as you call it, the spirit of compassion talking to you, which is love. And that's so beautiful. But how did you like, I know that you also were able to not only see the sickness, but also you could also hear how to heal it.
Well, that's the great part. It wasn't just like, look, you're dizzy because the left side of one of your vagus nerves is inflamed. Okay, it's great to have an answer,
Right.
right? It's another, like, how do we get that mysterious inflammation down?
Yeah.
And what causes that inflammation? So, Spirit of Compassion would say, well, Epstein Barr is causing this person's vertigo.
Yeah.
Well, and then I would say, well, what do we do about Epstein Barr? And Spirit of Compassion would say the virus that's been identified as Epstein Barr, okay,
Mhm.
is causing this inflammation in someone's brainstem or in their vagus nerve, giving them vertigo and dizziness, and it's getting misdiagnosed as Meniere's, and they're saying that it's a crystal in somebody's ear, and that's why they're dizzy. So, I
Mhm.
mean, so the person's got, so they've been diagnosed with something called Meniere's disease.
Mhm.
They're dizzy. They're
Mhm.
being told it could be theoretically a crystal somewhere in their inner ear, because that's a theory. And Spirit of Compassion be like, that's not what it is. And down
Wow.
the road, they will be saying it's Epstein Barr down the road, that it's a viral infection. And they're starting to do that now. And they finally abandoned the whole crystal in the ear thing. So I spent 35 plus years teaching people these things. So then Spirit of Compassion would say, well, here's what you need to do with it. It's because of the viral issue, like Epstein Barr. Now
Mhm.
we need to kill the virus. And so here I am, a young kid, and I'm hearing kill a virus. How do you kill a virus? And
Wow.
now the next stage is like, is yeah, like, what do we need to do? And then Spirit of Compassion be like, you need this, you need this, you need this. Here's the food you need. And you go back all the way, all these years, these decades ago, and a lot of grocery stores only had like carrots, some cabbage, iceberg lettuce, right?
Mhm.
Maybe some rosemary, thyme, and sage, right?
Yes.
maybe some apples, some red apples. There wasn't a lot out there. So I would be literally foraging for the people I need to help. So I'd be 12
Ah,
years old, 15 years old, you know, whatever, it would always be the same thing. People coming to me that needed help with these
uh-huh.
mysterious symptoms. And then if the store didn't have it back then, all those decades ago, then I would be actually in the woods foraging.
Oh
You know,
my gosh.
yeah, I'd be like pulling out a dandelion root, right? And
Oh,
teaching somebody how to like work with that. I'd be like going and grabbing some other kind of herb. I'd be looking for mullein leaf. I'd be looking for something. So that's how my life was. My life, I'd be picking a mushroom, right? So spirit of compassion be like, well, that mushroom's poisonous, that mushroom's not. That's the mushroom you use, that's the mushroom you don't. So my life was about trying to get the resources too, and
mhm.
teaching people who came to me how to get their own resources to survive, like what wild foods to find, what
Right.
leafy greens to consume that you can get in the grocery store that can help knock down a viral problem or turn their life around, get the inflammation down. So, a lot of times you'll hear, oh, that's the guy that knows a lot about fruits and vegetables. Medical medium knows a lot. Well, that's great and all, but it was wild foods and herbs and leafy greens and fruits and vegetables. And what happened was, Spirit of Compassion would be like, here's the herbs you use. Here's the, and celery is an actual herb. And if you use it the right way, you can move the needle for somebody and change their lives. And this is how it always went. It was always about people being chronically sick. And unless you've been really chronically ill, you just don't know what it's like too. You don't know what it's like to be in someone's shoes. I mean, am I right with
Yes,
that?
yes, for sure. I mean, people that watch me know that I have autoimmune conditions. I have been diagnosed with lupus, Sjogren's syndrome, which is where your immune system attacks your moisture producing glands. I didn't know, but until like about a year ago, which is when we started talking more in depthly about my conditions, and you actually you checked in with me at that point, and we kind of talked further about it, which I want to get into. Also, fibromyalgia was showing up as a diagnosis, and then more recently, Lyme disease. And then I found out I had black mold in my house, which I just got rid of. And actually, it's helped a lot. I feel better since that's happened. But when we talked about this stuff specifically last year, when I was going through my troubles, and I asked you to just kind of help me out again, you checked in. What did you tell everybody what you noticed? Because I remember you told me celery juice and to do the heavy metal detox, and then you also said to eat a lot of potatoes.
Yeah. I was trying to put you on an antiviral,
Yes.
diet, keeping foods out that feed bugs, that feed viruses, because fibromyalgia is
Mhm.
Epstein-Barr. Like that's what creates fibromyalgia. So what
Ah,
happens is you can go to a fibro doctor, they'll be like, you got fibro. You
mhm.
can go to then walk into a Lyme doctor's office, and they'll just be a Lyme doctor, and they'll be like, you got Lyme disease. You can
Right.
go into a lupus doctor, like you got lupus.
Yes, it's exhausting.
But those three are Epstein-Barr. And I know people who still believe that Lyme disease is bacterial will get really mad at me right now, and they'll be like, "Oh, he doesn't know anything. It's bacterial." It's actually viral. And that's why they're doing this thing now where they're testing everybody who they're testing for Lyme disease, they're testing them for Epstein-Barr virus. And when I published the first book, Medical Medium, I broke the truth about what causes Lyme disease, and it's changed the Lyme community. So now over 50% of the Lyme doctors believe it's viral now.
Mhm.
And then the old dogs, I call them, the old doctors with Lyme disease, they're still thinking it's bacteria, but
Mhm.
it's shifting. It's now heading to viral because of the publication of the Medical Medium book. So it's heading now to viral. And so now doctors are checking and they're saying, whoa, my Lyme patient has Epstein-Barr. And they're kind of now linking the medical medium symptoms. You're saying, wait, medical medium says Epstein-Barr causes neurological symptoms, and so that's how it goes. And
Mhm.
so the thing is what's interesting is, but you can get a diagnosis for anything. If you go
Mhm.
into a mold doctor, you go see a mold doctor, be like, it's mold, it's mold.
Right.
And what happens with mold is mold lowers the immune system
Yes.
so that something else can take over. That's why you could have like 5 people in the house and only one falls to some kind of illness. And then because meanwhile everybody in the house is eating mold. They're eating mold. They got mold. They're breathing in mold. They got mold all over their clothes. There's mold all over the furniture, and they're like, fine. They're like, what's wrong with you? And then this one person is all of a sudden really sick. That's because that person, when their immune system dropped, something else came up, like Epstein-Barr or shingles or cytomegalovirus or HHV6 or, herpes simplex 1 and 2, whatever it was. But Epstein-Barr tends to rise up when we drop our immune system down, and mold clobbers people's immune systems when there's a lot of mold. It's a trigger. So, mold is one of the triggers that can send you to a Lyme doctor, and that's just how it works. But the Epstein-Barr is what I saw happening with you, and you got the Epstein-Barr diagnoses without it being Epstein-Barr. They gave you the fibro diagnoses, they gave you the Lyme disease diagnoses, right? They told you mold must be causing all your problems when, it was lowering the immune system, but Epstein-Barr was taking over and giving you aches and pains and brain fog. It's another one right there too.
Yeah, and then a little ADHD too, right? Which you were talking about might be the heavy metals in my brain, right?
Yep. And what happens is when we get sick, we usually have a compilation of metals and viruses.
Right.
So we'll have like EBV and we'll have metals. And I put you on some different herbs, some different supplements to knock down the viral load. That was the key. We have to knock the viral load. And then I put you on some stuff to bring your nervous system to a stronger place, to bring that.
What is a viral load for people who are listening? And I just want to define two things. We're talking a lot about Epstein-Barr virus, which I don't know if people know exactly what that is. What is that?
Well, Epstein-Barr is like when someone gets mono, and they don't even need to know they had mono. You can have the mildest form of mono, and then it go away, and you just think you had a cold, or you were under the weather, or you had a scratchy throat, and you were just kind of low, under the weather. And what they don't realize is they had a small bout of mono, but they didn't get diagnosed with mono. And then what happens, mononucleosis is Epstein-Barr. That's one of the stages of Epstein-Barr. But then when Epstein-Barr stays in our system, as the years go on, and we run into problems where our immune system lowers again, like say we had some trauma, say we had some emotional hardship. I've seen a lot of people when they break up with relationships or divorces, their immune system gets clobbered from it. And then all of a sudden, now they got Hashimoto's thyroiditis, fibromyalgia, heart palpitations, vertigo and dizziness. Their hair's falling out. They're just falling apart. And because the Epstein-Barr, which was their mono from a long time ago, whether it's mono from college or from high school or from, if you're younger and you had mono or didn't even know you had it, the mono turns into this other thing where it's another stage of Epstein-Barr, and it comes out. And then we get all these different problems. We get the lupus, we get the fibromyalgia, we get the chronic fatigue syndrome where we have all the fatigue, we get the vertigo, we get the tinnitus, and it just gets worse and worse for a lot of people.
You remember when they used to call mono the kissing disease?
Yeah. And exactly.
Great. Everyone had it. Everyone got it in my high school because we were all kissing each other. And so, I think that's so interesting because I think, that makes a lot of sense. Now, what is a viral load when you talk about the viral load?
So the viral load is like how active the virus is. So the virus can go into the liver or into the reproductive system. If the virus goes into the reproductive system, you end up with endometriosis later. You end up with fibroids later. That's all Epstein-Barr. PCOS is Epstein-Barr. So and that's what happens. So in the reproductive system, the Epstein-Barr will go into the ovary and create a follicle problem, and then we get in trouble. And here's the thing, there's more than one variety of Epstein-Barr. And I was the first to talk about that. The Spirit of Compassion gave me that advanced information. Now they're saying there's 2 forms of Epstein-Barr now. What they don't realize, there's over 60 varieties. So about 20 years from now or 40 years from now, someone's going to look through the medical medium books and say, oh my God, the guy was right about that too. There's 60 varieties of Epstein-Barr. And it's not because I'm smart. It's because of the voice I hear since I was age 4.
You must have so much patience, because I think like for people that are intuitive, and yours is like intuition times 1,000 because you're actually connected to Spirit of Compassion that has specific information that is being passed to you. Just as a personal question, like you must have this has taught you incredible patience, I would imagine as well, right?
Yeah, it's been frustrating throughout the years. And the discrimination stuff, because it's like, you walk around with a kick me sign on your back because,
Yeah.
you hear a voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they're the most popular selling health books in the world for 7 years running. But yet you're still walking around with a kick me sign on your back, because it's like no matter how many people get better, no matter how many people who couldn't walk before, they're now out of their wheelchair because of the medical medium books. And no matter how many people are drinking celery juice and maybe not even telling anybody they're drinking it, everybody's drinking it pretty much now, and no matter what's happening, how people are benefiting their lives, you still, because you hear a voice, and that's where the information comes from. People still go, well, you know what? I don't know, because where does he get his information? Meanwhile, Harvard University, right? Harvard just did a study. That Epstein-Barr causes MS, but I already published it. 7 years ago. So,
Mm-hmm.
so 7 years later,
Yeah.
right now, there's articles out saying, "Oh my God, we finally discovered the cause of multiple sclerosis. It was Epstein-Barr the whole time." It's like, millions and millions and millions of copies of the medical medium books have been
Right.
sold around the world. Number one New York Times best-selling books, and
Yes.
it
Right
already
here.
was published. It's already published that the cause of MS is Epstein-Barr, and it shows in detail how that happened. So, it's what's fun about it. And Spirit of Compassion always told me, Spirit of Compassion said, your information that I'm giving you will never be proven wrong, only be proven right. And so as each year goes by and every decade goes by, there it is again, proven right, proven right, proven right. And so the frustrating part is, all that's happening, right? And then at the same time, you'll get people that just naysayers that are like, oh, don't drink celery juice. It's bad for you. Don't drink celery juice. It's got too much salt in it. Don't, make sure you do something, and you see this and you're just like, oh my God. Like, meanwhile, things like celery juice is one of one of the medical medium
One of the
tools,
many,
one of
many
many,
tools that you've
has helped
offered to
so many
people.
people. Yeah. And
And let's talk about celery juice really quickly, because I know for me that the days that I drink it, which since um, I think I got really good at it last year, I got really focused on it. And I started out with a little bit of apple. And it's so funny because I put a little Instagram post about it, that I put a little apple. And a lot of your followers were like, you are not
what are you
allowed to
doing?
put apple. And I was like, God, I love
And
this.
they're,
People are so passionate about what you've taught them because it works. And I will say
yeah.
that even if at the
Well,
beginning
they
I
want
started,
you better. The
yes,
the medical medium community wants you better. They are the truest.
it's
They're
beautiful.
salt of the earth, heart and soul. I mean, I don't even know. Here's how I can describe the medical medium community. They're not self-absorbed.
Right.
They don't just care about themselves. They're seasoned. They've been through hell and back,
Yep.
right? And know what it's like, and they truly care about others and getting their information. And that kind of sums up. I mean, it's more than that too, but that's a piece of the medical medium community.
But that's because like attracts like, and that's who you are. And just let me just read this real quick. This is in the beginning, in the front page of Cleanse to Heal. Long after we're gone, this information will still be here for those who come next. In that sense, it is timeless. This planet will continue to present challenges, often in the form of pathogens and other toxic troublemakers, to the people living on it. The human body will continue to hold the capacity for healing if the coming generations know how to tap into its cleansing rhythms. Anthony Williams. What I love about this is that I know your intention. It's right there. Long after we're gone, this information will still be here for those who come next. Your intention and the Spirit of Compassion's intention is to help all of us. And that's what part of this series is about, is helping people understand that you get to choose whatever works for you. And if it's about listening to someone who hears a voice, and if that goes against your childhood upbringing, go against it and go against it and
Wow.
follow the path to true healing, because you have the right to do that, right? And I think that
Powerful.
that's what's so amazing about you. Your spirit is so generous and so giving. I want to talk really quickly about not really quickly, but I want to talk, let's get a little bit into the celery juice. Exactly, like, what are the the benefits besides what I feel, which I want to say is I feel clear-headed every time I drink celery juice. Like my brain got a shower of April rain. I just feel clear every time I drink celery juice.
You know, the cool thing about it, it's a neutralizer. It's neutralizing acids. Then it's neutralizing toxins.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's diffusing and neutralizing metals. It doesn't pull metals out, but it diffuses, it neutralizes their damaging effects. And then it neutralizes other things too, like chemicals, like the fragrances and the air fresheners that get in us, and all that other junk that's getting the chemicals that are we're breathing in every day. It's helping to neutralize all that, right? The other thing it's doing, it's restoring the HCl in the stomach glands. So everybody's walking around and their stomach glands are toasting. They're just getting toasted out because we're doing the caffeine, right? We're burning our stomach glands out and then they're just getting burned up. And so we walk around and then our food doesn't digest good, right? So then we're at the doctor's office like, oh, I don't feel good. I don't know. I'm not digesting good. I don't know what's happening. My microbiome's off, whatever it is. And so the celery juice restores those stomach glands, which helps you have strong HCl, and the strong HCl kills pathogens. And that's like your bug killer. We walk around naturally with the bug killer in us, right? It's not just our immune system. So it's not just our white count. It's not just our basophils, monocytes, neutrophils. It's not just about our immune cells. We have a natural, innate, built-in bug killing system. So if you catch mono, so if you kiss somebody and you catch mono, so you just caught the Epstein-Barr. So it's right there in your mouth. and then you swallow it and it goes down into your stomach. Okay. Well, if your HCl is strong, boom, kills it. Gone. Just kills it. But here's the problem. No one's HCl is strong anymore. All their HCl, the whole planet at this point, the world has changed. It's really difficult to live here in so many ways. And our HCl, from stress to everything else, to the food we eat, is weakened. So we don't have our natural bug killer. So if you go, so you're in a public bathroom, you pick something up, or if you're in a restaurant and a chef cuts their finger and now you have sitting in your food H. pylori, you got 2 Epstein-Barrs, you got a simplex herpes simplex 1, you got some E. coli, you got some staph, and it's all now in your food because the chef cut their finger, because everybody has this stuff inside of them. You eat it. If you have strong HCl, you're going to kill all that right there. No one has strong HCl. So everybody's picking up H. pyloris, and then they're picking up streptococcus, then they're picking up E. coli, then they're picking up 2 EBVs, then they're picking up a shingles, and then by the time they're 40, their thyroid's bonking out. They got symptoms everywhere. They're getting a Lyme diagnosis, a fibro diagnosis, all kinds of different problems. They're at a gut doctor, and the gut doctor's like, take this tonic because you got a microbiome problem. Take this probiotic, and they're confused and they're not getting better. And you just you're on this place of where, what is wrong with me? And that HCl was your natural bug killer, but it was gone. It wasn't there. And then we don't break down our food good, and then we walk around too much flatulence, too much gas, and too much ammonia in our system. But celery juice is great it's a complete electrolyte. People are like, electrolyte drink. Let me get my electrolytes. Meanwhile, celery juice is a complete electrolyte, not a partial. So that's another reason why all of a sudden people are thinking better. It's like, oh my God, I'm thinking better. I'm getting my life on track. My brain fog's going away. What is this, right? But let's not say I'm drinking celery juice, because what happens is people too, they closet drink celery juice now, which is sad. A lot of people, they'll post about it. A lot of people closet drink it because they get clobbered with all kinds of like haters and naysayers. It's like, I'm drinking my celery juice, and a bunch of people come on there. Don't you dare juice. You should eat your celery. Or somebody will come on and be like, celery will ruin your skin. And people get so tired of it that they're just drinking it, but they're afraid to talk about it. Now it's actually, meanwhile, it's the number 1 produce crop in the world. It's the number 1 produce thing that sells in any store. There's like Whole Foods gets trucks delivered of it. They can't keep it in stock. The produce managers in every store across the globe are like tired of stocking it and putting cases and cases up. There's people waiting out the door, picking up cases. It's a phenomenon. I mean,
and that's because it works. It really, truly works. And those who know, right? And I hope that those who don't know yet will try and then be part of the those who know group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you want to be closeted or out about it, that's okay, as long as
Exactly.
you do it, because this information that you have, obviously people that are listening right now can see how much you know about these subjects, and it's so powerful. And what I love is that you're also connecting people back to the land, and like making sure that they're checking their products and being more active in their life, because what happens as humans on this earth in this time around, in this century, we're very lazy because it's just easy, everything's so quick, right? And you've part of all that you teach and have given back to the world is the gift of connection back to, like, not only health, but also the land that we live in, right? And the nature around us. I want to talk about your podcast quickly.
Okay,
Your
sure.
podcast. Okay, first of all, I love your podcast. I mean, you have so much information. I feel like you could do many, many more. Is there going to be a new season?
Yeah, there is.
When
It's
is it
gonna be
coming
it's
out? Do you
gonna be
know?
this year.
This
No,
year.
yep, I'm already working on it.
Great.
It's yeah, definitely.
Okay, so of your past season, what is your favorite podcast, or what was the one that you're most proud of?
I like them all, but the blood draw one's critical. The blood draw, bloodletting, and vampirism episode is critical to know and learn about because it can save your life. What happens is we're in a situation right now where people are staying sick
Uh-huh.
because they're getting too much blood drawn, too much. 7 vials, 10 vials, 12 vials, 30 vials,
I
20
had
vials.
30
You had
bottles.
30 vials. Yeah.
Yes, and I was sick, so sick afterwards, not even funny.
It's an incredible mistake that happens. It is not the doctor's fault. It's not entirely the doctor's fault at all. And I don't, I'm friends with a lot of
Mhm.
doctors.
Right.
I work with doctors all the time. It's not the doctor's fault. It's just what they've been taught, right?
Yeah.
They're taught to just take all this blood. But what people don't realize is your immune system. A large part of your immune system is in your bloodstream. So why are you at the doctor's office to begin with? You're at the doctor's office because you're sick.
Yes.
You're sick because your immune system is having a problem.
Yes.
We go to the doctor's office and they're taking now your blood, which has your immune cells in it. And immune cells are not easy to produce out of your bones when you're sick and you're struggling. You got fatigue and all these aches and pains, and you're getting all these different diagnoses. So they end up removing your immune cells, more and more of them. You get sicker and they say, hey, you better come in here. We better get more blood now. So then you get more blood. And then they're like, we're going to send you to a specialist now. So now you go to a specialist and they take more blood. Now, basically, you're just a blood bag. They're draining as you're going around, right? And the disaster that happens to a lot of people. I've seen so many stories, is you end up eventually bedridden. So many people, and they can't get out of bed. And now they're in a tragic state because when they had their immune system taken out, whatever was making them sick rose up.
I see.
You remove their white count, and then the Epstein-Barr, HHV6, cytomegalovirus, simplex 1, simplex 2, streptococcus, right? All of it starts to rise up.
Mhm.
It rises up, and now you're sicker and sicker. And here's the thing. You want to be responsible. You want to go to the doctors. Absolutely.
Yes.
So you're like, I got to go back. And they're like, oh my God, we don't know why you're just getting worse. Let's take 20 more vials out. And then you die. And a lot of people have. And it has killed a lot of people. So this is one of the biggest mistakes in medical history we're dealing with now. So I'm not against getting your blood. Yeah, I'm not against getting your blood tested. I'm not against getting your blood drawn.
Okay.
I'm not against any of that. I want you to go to your doctor and get your blood test, but there's a way to do it. And on the podcast episode, I explain the whole way to do it, like how to talk to your doctor, how to do it cautiously, what to tell the phlebotomist, things that can save a life. A lot of moms who are taking care of their kids and trying to live their life have literally been permanently bedridden because of blood draws. They were getting sick with fatigue and they kept on getting the blood drawn over and over again. And now they can't take care of their kids, their family, and they're suffering. There's millions out there around the world that are bedridden because of this, or suffering greatly, or staying sick.
Right. Yeah.
Even if it's just, yeah.
I will say that when there was a time when I was first diagnosed with autoimmune conditions and I started to see my rheumatologist regularly, like I had blood draws all the time. And I will say that, like you said, it's no one's fault, right? We're not
No,
trying to place
no,
blame, okay? It's just
no.
everybody only sees the world through the lens that they have, and this is the way they studied, so this is why they're recommending that, and it is their best effort. But I will say that I was very sick when I was going to the doctor a lot because I was giving blood. Part of my regime was to go in, give blood, and then I'd just be in bed for a while, and then I'd be depressed, and then I'd get sad, and then I'd eat crappy foods, and then guess what? Just killing off all the things that you're talking about trying to heal. I was just destroying it, and then medications on top of it. That's why drinking the lemon juice in the morning and flushing out the toxins that have accumulated overnight, because I still do take medications for certain things, and I'm slowly weaning off everything as I slowly increase the healthy foods that you've suggested to me, and the detoxes and all of that. And it's a process. And I just, that's what this is all about, is helping people have another lens through which to see their lives and giving them these incredible tools that you're so generously offering. So everybody check out that podcast, because that podcast has great information. And we've been talking about people that are sick. And you have said something that I thought was really interesting. You said that you're hoping that the work you do will help bridge the gap between the sick and the not so sick.
Yeah, because what happens is you have the not so sick. The not so sick are people that are still living their lives.
Mm-hmm.
They're living their lives. Nothing's stopping them from living their lives. They might have a little bit of acne. They might have a little bit of bloating, maybe a little fatigue periodically,
Okay.
maybe a little bit of that, maybe some brain fog that's intermittent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got someone who they could barely get into a shower. When water hits them, it almost knocks them over. They need help with somebody making their food. They can't take a walk outside for more than 10 minutes or 5 minutes. They can't sit in the sun. It'll knock them out. They'll be sick for 3 days.
Been there.
You've been there, right?
Been there.
Yeah, I know. And so there's the not so sick and the sick, right? So sick. And what happens is there's a confusion between them both, because
Right.
the not so sick haven't been inconvenienced enough to know what the really sick are going through. And
Oh,
so
it's
what
not
I'm trying to
right.
do is I'm trying to bridge this great divide, because I need the not so sick and people who aren't sick at all, which is very rare now because we're heading to a place where everybody's getting sick. But I need the bridge to just like connect and not to be divided, because what's happening is it's important that the chronically ill, they're validated, because someone who's not so sick at all doesn't know what they're really going through. And then that's where the problems, there's all kinds of problems that happen on social media, a lot of people struggling, and it's confusing. And I'll tell you why it's confusing. Somebody who's not so sick could recommend things that are really bad for someone who's really sick. But the someone who's really sick is watching their feed thinking they're sick just like them, but they're not. So what they're watching is someone that's like, I got this, I got that. And the person who's like on Mattress Island stuck in bed for like 20 hours a day thinks the other person's kind of just as sick as them. So let me go try this and let me go try that.
Right.
And that's when it gets really tricky. Like, we have to know the difference. We have to be like, look, I'm not a Mattress Island. I'm living my life. I'm going to the store. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm even drinking on the weekends. I'm, I'm going to a game.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the stuff. And yeah, I'm on social media talking about my brain fog or talking about, my acne or whatever it is. But if you're really sick out there and you're on Mattress Island and you can barely function and you've been to 20 doctors and you're really suffering and you don't even know if you can get through the day, maybe you shouldn't try my charcoal powder. Maybe you shouldn't try my pearl powder. Maybe you shouldn't try my whatever, because what happens is that if the chronically ill, people who are really sick, when they try certain things, it could finish them off. I've seen it. It's like, boom, charcoal powder. It's like a nightmare. Diatomaceous earth particles, a nightmare. Alkaline ionizer water machines, a nightmare, because it tips the scale in the wrong direction for someone who's really sick. But yet someone who's not so sick, they can play in these trends that they can play. They can drink stuff that's not good, but they'll hang in there because they weren't really that sick. But yet the real sick person sitting there, you're watching people's feeds, thinks they're sick. And they're like, okay, I'll go try all that apple cider vinegar and that charcoal powder and that diatomaceous earth particles, right? And that whatever, and that ionizer water, and I'll try all that. And then boom, they're real bad off now. And they're like, I thought it worked. And what they didn't realize it, the not so sick person just isn't that sick. So the scale isn't really seen yet. They're still living their life. They're running around. They can do what they want. They can go out to, a party. They can live their life. They're not inconvenienced really, but yet they have a little bloating. They're seeing their functional medicine doctor.
Right.
And they're getting tips and tricks and hacks. And they're showing people their hacks. But then you got these people, they're confused.
Yeah.
And so
it is, as far as like, because I've been on Mattress Island. I mean, there was years when I was in Mattress Island. Fortunately, as I make my slow progression back to taking good care of myself and understanding my health, and it's such a relief. I feel like now I'm more like those people who are like not so sick. And I'm like, you have no idea. This is amazing, right? Those people have no idea what it's like to really be on Mattress Island. But I have a lot of followers who are on Mattress Island, and we connect that way. And that's why my love for you is so great, is because you really do understand that this is real. What we're experiencing, these symptoms, they're real. And yes, they can be healed, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they're very real and very painful. And as you've said, are dangerous to your health if you continue living in a way that's not going to work back on to heal you the way that you've been suggesting. So, and
then I want the not so sick to actually not end up that way too.
Right.
So that's another reason why I'm trying to kind of connect both and get everybody familiar with what's happening. It's just versus not really knowing, and then the not so sick person ends up really sick, or the really sick person just stays sick. There's the details matter. That's the thing. And that's what's left out all the time. It's always like that. It's the details matter. And I put all the details in the books, and I try to talk about them all the time. And, but it's hard to get, the details out there. So,
people want they want the quickest, easiest solution, right? That's like what we can do today. And I think people need to be careful. I know that you've told me this many times, is that, we have to be careful about the supplements we take, also what's in them, and being aware. And, a lot of this information is on your website, medicalmedium.com. But I want to ask really quickly about going at your own pace. Because a lot of what you say can be overwhelming to somebody who is suffering brain fog and on Mattress Island and is exhausted from the whole process of talking to everybody and trying every single thing. For those people who are on their like last breath of hope and are reaching out to you, like, what's the best way to get started? How can they do it in a way that...
Well, the thing is medical medium information isn't one size fits all, right? So it's the only health community or health set of health information, right? The books and all that, that's not one size fits all. Keto is one size fits all. You do the keto and that's what it is. Doesn't matter where you are or what, it's like you do it or you don't. It's one size fits all. And I'm not ripping keto or anything, whatever, or anything else. I'm just saying that the info is customizable. Mm-hmm. And it's customizable vastly. Like you can come in with all kinds of problems and you can start here and you can take it as far as you want to go. You can work with what you have going on. You can start I have stuff for people who are chemical sensitive, people who have sensitivities, people who have food allergies, people that come into this with all of it, right? You can be on, and here's the thing, which is incredible, which Spirit of Compassion, taught me years ago. He said, because I love plant-based stuff. Like I love plant-based stuff, right? He says, plant-based is plant-based, but you can still be sick and be plant-based. You still can be sick and be plant-based, right? You need to have the answers for the plant-based people, but you need to have the answers for the animal protein people. So what Spirit of Compassion was saying, it's all walks of life with all belief systems, whether you're animal protein, whether you're plant-based, whether you're vegan, whatever it is, you can come to the medical medium information and take the tools and still heal. Meaning you can still heal while eating animal protein and you can still heal while being plant-based or vegan. And the one thing is a lot of the vegans, a lot of vegans don't like medical medium information because I'm not against animal protein eaters. Right. So that I don't go against the people who eat animal protein, because the medical medium community is a combination of animal protein eaters, plant-based people, vegans, vegetarians, right? So the vegan movement has kind of like, they're kind of ticked off because and they have been for years of medical medium info, because they're like, wait a minute, He's not, he's not one of us. He likes protein eating people too. He's
Mhm.
letting protein eating people be in here. And so, but the reason why is because Spirit of Compassion, it was for everybody. It's
Yeah.
customizable, and it's the only place that isn't one size fits all. That's in health today. It's either you're one side of the aisle or the other, or you're one thing or another, right? So, and so it's customizable. There are thousands of protocols so you can get better. So you can make it work for you and what's going on and why you're sick. And that's the key, and I have a getting started section right on my website, medicalmeme.com. You can look for that. It's a getting started section. It talks about tools to start with and where you are.
Yeah. Look, people out there, if you're struggling, please, like I beg you to please try. It's so important. You will find what you're looking for. It might take a little bit of like trial and error, but that's life, right? You get to make choices that are going to make your life better. Okay. So, you know, there's a quote here that I have from Robert De Niro that says about you, my dear friend, Anthony's a trusted source for our family. His work in the world is a light that has guided many to safety. He means so much to us. And I swear he took the words out of my mouth because that's how I feel about you. How does this feel? This must be so rewarding to hear these kind of things for all the work that you've put in and having this special
Well,
gift.
when you see people heal out there in the world, and you they've been through so much. I
Yeah.
mean, I think what happens is, when we get really sick, it we feel like we're losing something. We feel like
Yes.
we're losing something. We're
There's grief.
losing freedoms. We're
Mhm.
losing freedoms. We're losing resources. We're losing, hope.
Life.
We're just,
Hope.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
And when they start coming out of that, it's nothing better. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what can I do now? Like, what can I do for people? How can I change someone's life out there? And, like, I just want to make sure. And the hard part, I think, is when I was young, I was really naive, right? So I was really naive when I was younger. And I thought that if you had answers, that the whole world would be like, oh my God, he's got the answer. It should be all over the news. It should be everywhere. It should be, every virologist should have this
They're
information.
gonna love it. They're
They're
gonna
going to
love
love
it.
it. They're going to love it, right? So when you're 12 years old and you're really naive and Spirit of Compassion is giving you this information, like Epstein-Barr causes MS, right? Or whatever that has come through from
Uh-huh.
Spirit all these years. You think that the whole world's going to just
Of
stop and be
course.
like, oh my God, what else do you have? What do you have for this, right? But no, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. No. You learn as the years go by that people, they're supposed to be sick, like by design. And it's like, and the system is set up to not let everybody know. And it's like, it's interesting. So the whole thing is, so as I was growing up, I was like, no, wait a minute, there's an answer for this. You can get rid of your acid reflux like this. You can get rid of your vertigo like this. You can get rid of your brain fog like this. You can get rid of your anxiety, your depression, your Alzheimer's. Can't tell you how many people with Alzheimer's healed with medical meme information for the last 35 years, right? And you can get rid of these things. And then you see out there in the world of medicine or the news, like, we don't know what causes Alzheimer's still. It's, we're losing people to Alzheimer's. It's like, oh my God, Spirit of Compassion gave me those answers
It's there, right here.
decades ago. And you learn quick as you get older that it's not what it appears to be in this world. And it's almost like, the world kind of, the powers that be kind of like people being sick. And the craziest thing, because there are answers. We don't have to be sick. We don't have to suffer. And I think that when I was younger, I thought, 10, 12 years old, 13 years old, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. This is going to be great, And my family was like, this is going to be incredible. You got answers.
You're gonna heal the world.
Gonna heal the world. You got answers. And look, and I'm not complaining. Remarkably enough, they're the most popular health books in the world, and going all these years now, and millions of copies are out there, and
Yeah, but it's
have
because
healed people.
the
But
information is real.
yeah, but you realize there's a lot of obstacles.
Mhm.
a lot of obstacles, a lot of pushback, a lot of discrimination, a lot of different things. And so it's about now, it's about like, if you find medical medium information, the angels are helping you bring you to it at this point,
Right.
because the world isn't so easy. You know what I mean? It's not like the world's that easy about getting this stuff out there. So if you're coming to medical medium and you found the answers, then if you believe in spirit guides, then your spirit guides obviously clued you in somehow. You landed there, whether a doctor told you, but it was this thing that happened, this divine intervention. And I heard that for years too. People would say, I woke up one morning, right? And there was a bird outside my window. And I went to the window to look at it. And I saw somebody outside on the street. I opened up the window and they said, have you seen medical medium? And I heard that story. And this is years ago. I mean, this is before even the books. And the person was like, I got to look into this medical medium. And then they found me. And when they made an appointment and found me decades ago, they told me how they did. And it was like, there are a lot of stories like that, because it's not easy to, get that medical medium information without roadblocks and traps and being sidestepped and all that stuff. And so it's really remarkable. So at this point, people who find it, there's something inside of them and something connecting to something above. It's
Right.
God or whatever they believe or feel, and the universe, whatever it is, they're connecting. And then they find medical medium. And then when they find medical medium information, get ready, because when you start telling everybody you're doing medical medium, they're going to be like, oh, go try this. And it's like, I tried that and it didn't work. Go try this. Tried that and it didn't work. I did coffee enemas and I got really sick. I did whatever and I got really sick. I did cold plunging and ended up in the hospital. I did whatever.
Yeah.
And so what they do is, people that have been there and done that and tried everything, and the light and spiritual power helps them find their way. And then they're like, whoa, I actually have a shot. And they start doing it and they start getting the details down, and then they come out of it, and then there they are. And you know what? When they come out of it, they learn so much from what they've been through. Look what you've been through. Mattress Island, being sick, Couch Island, I call it, because we're just stuck on the couch.
Yeah. Well, now but I was Mattress Island. I mean, I was like one day up and then the rest of the week down. And then, got to Couch Island every once in a while still, because I'm still in process, right? And I'm so grateful to be in process. There are still days when Couch Island calls my name. and that's okay. And I know it's a Couch Island day. And then I get up the next day and I go, okay, let me work a little bit more on this. And I check out and I figure things out. I want to say.
And a lot of times what we do is, as we're getting better, we push harder.
It's true.
As we get better, happens to everybody. When you're down and out and you remember your old life, I used to run 5 miles. I used to jog 5 miles. I'd be on my treadmill. I'd tank a pot of coffee. I would go wherever. I would do this. I would go to 10 appointments during the day, right? They're the old life people remember. And then they're sick and they're down too long and they start getting better. And now all of a sudden they're exerting more energy. They're talking to friends they haven't talked to. They're talking to family more. They're going out and taking walks. And then it's 3 steps up, 2 steps back. You get kicked back a step and you get kicked back a step. And it's like, and then you build up from there. And because we end up doing more, it's like rehab time. And the thing is, when we're real sick, it's this rehab time. And then you get stronger and then you're stronger than you were from before. Yeah. You still can't now bungee jump today and stay out in the sun for 4 hours on the beach on a 95-degree day, but you still can't go in your bikini on the beach from 95 degrees for 6 hours with sunblock on, and then go to like a bungee jump with your friends. You can't do that because you get kicked back. And then you learn that you just do this up and up.
That's a good reminder, because sometimes it's true on the journey of healing. It is like this. It's up and down, up and down. And I'm always testing the boundaries. Like the other day I was like, I'm laying in the sun and I know that normally I can't, but like I've already been here for like 20 minutes and I'm feeling pretty good. And then I pushed a little too far. And then I was like, oh, look, Couch Island is calling again.
And then it's this building up process. You're building up. And because when we get kicked down so low, everything gets low inside of us.
And then you get really sad and depressed too.
Yeah.
But what's great is you talked about being called to you. And I think that anybody who's watching this right now is being called for a reason. And they're being called to you because this is about you and the gifts that you've been sharing with the world. And I'm just so grateful that you didn't give up because I can only imagine how difficult and how challenging in so many ways your journey must have been. But the fact that you stayed true to your true calling and you answered the call and all you do is live to help others. I see it. You give so much information away. You're constantly giving people information in so many different ways. And you do it with so much
Free.
joy and love. And on social media, I think it's great because you can actually, your reach expands even further and quicker, which is fantastic. And I hope that
Yeah.
this will do the same for you. Now, I want to have a little fun with you, if you don't mind. Can we play a
Yep.
little speed round?
Yep.
Okay, I got my phone. I'm all ready.
Oh,
I
no.
love technology. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. You're going to have 7 seconds to answer, and I'll time you. Is that okay? You game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. What are the top foods people need to add to their diet right now? And go.
Wild foods, leafy greens, fruits, herbs. Those are the 4 things we got to focus on. So that means like wild blueberries. That means like celery. That means like herbs like lemon balm, parsley, cilantro. Use cilantro like a leafy green. Spinach, lots of spinach. Eat a leafy green.
I couldn't stop you because there was so much good information. I was like, 7 seconds is over, but it's too good. Okay, next question. Okay, I'm going to do it right this time. I'm going to reset and I'm going to actually say beep on 7 seconds. We can go on forever. Okay, so you have a cooking show on Amazon Live. What's the coolest cooking gadget everyone needs to add to their kitchen right now? And go.
MM1500. That I'm working with Omega, the MM1500. It makes all these things. It makes salsa. It makes hummus. It makes like nut butters. It makes nut milks. It makes celery juice. It makes anything and everything.
Okay, that was 10 seconds. I'm getting better too at this. Work
Yeah,
in
I'm
progress.
getting.
Okay, I love that. Next one. Next question. All right. What are the 3 things that you do daily to keep yourself healthy? And go.
Okay. In the middle of the night, I'll look up at the sky and look at the stars. That's really important right there. I mean, for me, maybe somebody else might not like it, whatever, but I love doing that. That's what.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah.
I do that. I go outside and I put my feet in the grass and I look at the different color greens. There's something about nature. She's so beautiful. Okay, last question. Okay, ready? What's the greatest part about having your gift? And go.
People healing, that's the greatest part. There's nothing better than that.
Oh, that was perfect. That was right under 7 seconds.
That
And
was 1 second point.
you had 1 second. You could have done like a shimmy shimmy at the end there. Okay, Anthony, I've taken up so much of your time today, and I know it's valuable, your time, because all you do is spend your time helping other people. And I want to say thank you so much. And there's so much more to talk about. Can we do this again? Maybe we can do an Instagram Live one day?
Yes, we're
Okay,
going to do this again without a doubt because there's so much to cover and so much to talk about.
there
We'll have
truly
a
is.
lot of fun.
Okay, we'll do an Instagram Live and, check the details below. We'll post something about the details, so stay tuned, everyone. For more information on the medical medium, Anthony, he's so incredible, and his free resources, his best-selling books, his podcast, and so much more, go to medicalmedium.com. I'm telling you, it will be worth the minute that you take to look. You will set yourself on a whole new path of healing. Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I love you so much. Mwah.
Incredible being here. Love you too.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. Take care. We'll talk more. Cheers. Oh my gosh. You see, he's the most amazing person, just filled with love, so much information. We could have gone on for hours and hours and hours, but we had to end somewhere today. We will come back again. We're going to do an Instagram Live together, hopefully, and maybe even in person. Life is changing. And if not, we'll still do it the way we have to do it. And it's going to be fabulous. So I hope you guys will tune back in. I do hope that these conversations have helped you all in some way. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or thoughts or things that you'd like for me to cover in future episodes. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share this time with you all as well. Thank you so much. And I wish you all continued healing. For more information of Carrie Ann Conversations, you can go to our website. You can also go to my YouTube channel, and that's Carrie Ann Inaba. You can go to my Instagram, Carrie Ann Inaba, and check it all out. And thank you so much. May you continue to heal. Mwah! Have a beautiful day.